A billionaire dad steps out for one quick call, but what he returns to changes everything. A blind little girl, a stranger's kindness, and a past no one saw coming. What happens next will break your heart and put it back together. It was a quiet Thursday afternoon in Manhattan, the kind that slips between noise and silence without warning. Inside the glass-walled rooftop restaurant of the Grand LeClaire Hotel, everything gleamed: cutlery, chandeliers, shoes. The kind of place where whispers carried more weight than voices. Ethan Cross sat at a private corner table. He was the man behind Cross Dynamics, a tech empire built on silence, deals, and deadlines. His suit was sharp, face unreadable, eyes constantly flicking to his phone. Next to him sat Lily, 7 years old, hair neatly braided, small white cane resting beside her chair. Her soft pink dress made her look delicate. Ethan stood up just as the food arrived. "I'll be right outside, Pumpkin. Quick call," he said, placing his phone to his ear before she could respond. She nodded, though she could not see him walk away. Jasmine, the waitress on duty, had seen all kinds in her years working here: politicians, billionaires, celebrities. But something about the small girl sitting quietly with her fork fumbling against the plate made her pause. Jasmine was mid-aisle, holding a tray, eyes fixed. She watched as Lily tried to cut into her roasted chicken, missing the edges, her fingers grazing hot food. No one else noticed. Or maybe they did, but pretended not to. Jasmine walked over slowly. She kneeled beside Lily, careful not to startle her. "Hey, sweetheart, may I help?" Lily's lips curved into a small smile. "Are you the waitress?" "Yes, ma'am," Jasmine said gently, "but also a pretty decent chicken cutter." Lily giggled. It was small, but it shifted something in the room. Jasmine took the fork and knife, guiding Lily's hands over them, speaking softly. "You hold it like this. Feel that edge? That's where the slice happens. Want to try?" "I always mess it up," Lily whispered. "No such thing here. Just lessons. No grades." Outside, Ethan glanced through the window. He saw Jasmine, kneeling, helping. His first reaction was confusion, then caution. He stepped forward, but stopped just short of the door, watching. Not angry, not even annoyed, just frozen. Inside, Jasmine was now talking to Lily about sound. "You know, some people say every color has a sound. Blue hums low like a cello. Red? That one's a trumpet." Lily's head tilted. "What about yellow?" Jasmine smiled, like sunshine laughing. Lily laughed again, this time louder. For a moment, the restaurant disappeared. Just a child and a woman who knew how to see without eyes. Ethan finally stepped back inside. Jasmine stood up, straightening her apron. She did not smile, did not explain, just nodded politely and stepped away to the next table. Lily spoke without turning. "She was kind, Daddy." Ethan looked at her, then at Jasmine walking away. His phone buzzed again. He silenced it. He sat down without saying a word, but something in his chest, tightly wound for years, had shifted. Only slightly, but enough. The next day, Ethan returned to the same restaurant. This time, he booked the same table. Lily sat beside him again, quiet but smiling, as if she remembered something warm. Jasmine approached, holding the menu, her face calm but unreadable. "Good afternoon," she said, placing the napkins with steady hands. Ethan looked at her a moment too long. "I wanted to thank you for yesterday." Jasmine met his gaze without flinching. "You're welcome." He hesitated, then added, "I just hope you were not doing it for attention." Her eyes narrowed, just slightly. "No, sir. I saw a child struggling, that's all." There was no anger in her voice, no defense, just the truth. Ethan did not respond. He turned to Lily, who was running her fingers along the rim of the water glass. "She was kind, Daddy. I like her." Ethan's throat tightened. The words struck a place deeper than he expected. He nodded slowly, but said nothing. The food arrived. Jasmine served it quietly, stepping back as Lily began to eat, this time with more confidence, as if she remembered how. Ethan watched her for a while, not touching his own plate. Then suddenly, a memory pushed through the silence. He remembered his late wife, Claire, sitting in their old sunroom, sunlight across her lap as she brushed Lily's hair and whispered, "Teach her to feel people's hearts, not faces." He blinked. The image was gone, but something inside him stayed there, stuck in that moment, fragile and real. Days passed. Ethan found himself choosing the same restaurant more often. At first, it was a habit, then excuse, then curiosity. Jasmine never spoke too much. She never lingered. But each time, she had a way of checking in on Lily, sometimes adjusting her plate without a word, sometimes describing the food with simple, vivid language. "The carrots are warm and sweet, like honey in the sun," she once said. Lily beamed. Ethan noticed these things. He started watching Jasmine more carefully, not with suspicion, but with something closer to interest. Who was she really? She was good with children, that much was clear, too good for a waitress. Her hands moved with purpose. Her tone with Lily was always just right, never pitying, never distant, just soft guidance. It bothered Ethan in a way he could not explain. She was a stranger, yet somehow closer to Lily than he had ever been. At night, Ethan found himself thinking about Jasmine's voice, her calm presence, the way Lily seemed brighter after each encounter. Was it just a coincidence, or was there something more to this woman? One afternoon, after another brief interaction, he walked out to the car and asked his driver to wait. He dialed his assistant. "Can you do something for me?" he asked quietly. There was a pause on the other end. "Of course, sir. What do you need?" "Her name's Jasmine. She works at Leclerc. I want to know who she really is." 2 days later, a file landed on Ethan's desk. He did not open it right away. It sat there for hours, between meetings, beside coffee cups, ignored but never forgotten. When the office finally emptied and the sky turned a bruised shade of purple, he opened it. Name, Jasmine Elise Carter. Age, 36. Education, Master's in Child Psychology, New York University. Employment history, former child development therapist. Left full-time work in 2017. Ethan leaned back, eyebrows drawn in. Reason for leaving, family medical emergency. He read on. Jasmine had taken time off to care for her mother, who'd been diagnosed with late-stage cancer. During that same time, she also raised her younger brother alone after their father left. No arrests, no debts, no drama. But then, near the end of the report, something stopped him. Incident report, 2019. Jasmine Carter pulled a blind child away from oncoming traffic outside PS 162. No serious injuries, no charges filed. Witnesses reported she acted instinctively. Ethan read the paragraph again. There was also a small, handwritten note from his assistant. She volunteers every Saturday at a center for visually impaired kids in the Bronx. Low-key. No publicity. He stared at that sentence the longest. Something in him stirred, like standing at the edge of something vast and not knowing whether to step back or jump in. But it was the last line of the report that shattered him. Personal history. Lost her own daughter, Marley Elise Carter, age 6, due to hospital negligence during a routine procedure. Marley was born blind. Ethan sat in silence. Suddenly, Jasmine's calm presence made sense. The way she spoke to Lily, the care in her voice. It had not been a charity. It was a memory. It was grief. It was healing. He looked at a photo clipped inside the file, Jasmine at a school event, holding a child's hand, smiling gently. There was a trace of pain in that smile, not visible to most. But Ethan saw it. He felt it. That night, he could not sleep. He watched Lily as she dreamed. Small hands curled near her face, her breath steady. She had been different lately, more talkative, more playful, painting with her fingers, asking about sound colors, and laughing more. It was Jasmine, and it was not an accident. The next morning, Ethan drove Lily to the restaurant himself. He asked to speak to Jasmine privately. She met him in the back hall near the staff lockers, still tying her apron. "I read about you," Ethan said. She looked up slowly. "You had someone check me out?" "I did," he admitted. "Not to judge you. I just needed to understand." Jasmine crossed her arms, calm but guarded. "And now that you do?" "I owe you more than thanks," he said. "But that is not why I'm here." She said nothing, just waited. Then he said the words he never imagined himself saying. I need your help. Lily needs you, not just at lunch, not just for kind words. She needs someone who sees her the way you do. Jasmine's lips parted, then closed again. Her hands tightened slightly. I'm offering you a full-time role, Ethan continued, as her caregiver, her mentor, her guide, whatever title you want. Her eyes darkened. I don't need saving. This is not charity, he said quietly. It is a second chance for all of us. Jasmine stood still for a long moment. I cannot take a job out of pity, she said softly, her voice steady but tired. I've worked too hard to be looked at like someone who needs fixing. Ethan nodded slowly. That is not what this is. She looked away, the silence stretching. In her mind, the weight of old memories stirred. Hospital rooms, a daughter's fading laugh, a court's cold letter that said no one was to blame. Years of pain had taught her not to trust kindness when it came from people like him. Rich, distant, with pockets deep enough to forget the cost of loss. I am not asking for your story, Ethan said quietly. But Lily, she asks about you every night. She talks about colors that hum, and the lady who smells like cocoa butter. I do not know how to explain it, but she glows after being around you. I do not see her smile like that with anyone else, not even with me. Jasmine looked down, her throat tightening. She thinks your voice has colors too, he added. She blinked hard. She said that. He nodded. Jasmine exhaled slowly. I'll come on one condition. Anything, he said. You never treat me like a staff, she replied. I'm here for her, not for the title, not for the money. And if I ever feel like I'm just another piece of your household. She paused. I will leave. Ethan looked her in the eyes, something new behind his own. Humility. Deal. By the following week, Jasmine had moved into the guest cottage on Ethan's estate in upstate New York, not because she needed the space, but because Ethan insisted she be close to Lily. The first morning, Lily ran to Jasmine with arms wide, nearly tripping over the garden path. I want to paint today, she shouted, laughing. With what? Jasmine asked gently. With sound, Lily grinned. Like you said, colors that hum. They sat in a sunlit room, the floor covered in old sheets. Jasmine played soft jazz through a speaker, while Lily dipped her fingers into paint, listening to the rhythm, letting her ears guide her hands. Red for trumpet, blue for piano, yellow for laughter. Ethan watched from the doorway, quiet. The days began to shift. Jasmine started teaching Lily Braille through bedtime stories. She showed her how to walk without fear through new rooms, taught her how to fold her clothes, identify shapes by texture, and most importantly, how to be fearless in a world that could not see her. And slowly, without realizing it, Ethan changed too. Meetings that once filled his schedule were rescheduled. His phone stayed in his pocket longer. He started having lunch at home. Sometimes he just watched the two of them paint, saying little, listening more. One evening, after Lily had fallen asleep with dried paint on her fingers, Ethan walked Jasmine to the porch. You've given her something I could not, he said. She gave me something back, Jasmine whispered. What? Jasmine looked toward the stars. Peace. 3 months passed, and the house no longer echoed like it used to. Lily's laughter filled the hallways now, soft, spontaneous, and full of light. Her fingers moved confidently over Braille's storybooks. She named colors by the sound of rain, the warmth of morning, the music of birds. She had started painting with a strange, beautiful kind of precision, guided not by what she could see, but by what she could feel. Her canvases were wild and colorful, full of texture and story. People started asking Ethan if she had lessons. He only smiled and said, She has Jasmine. Jasmine had become more than a mentor. She was a quiet force in the house, a calming presence in the chaos. She never raised her voice, never demanded space, yet somehow every room changed when she entered it. Even the staff treated her differently, not as help, but as something essential. Ethan had softened in ways even he could not explain. His driver noticed he gave more eye contact. His assistant saw him lingering longer in meetings where children's causes were mentioned. He even donated anonymously to the center Jasmine used to volunteer at, tripling their yearly budget. But it was Lily who changed most. One Friday evening, she asked for something strange. "I want to do something for Jasmine," she said. Ethan tilted his head. "Like what?" "A surprise, something she can feel and remember, like she gave me." So they planned it together, quietly, carefully. A week later, Jasmine walked into what she thought was a normal Saturday breakfast. But the dining room was gone, transformed. The table had been cleared, and in its place stood a curved wall lined with Lily's paintings. Each one inspired by sounds Jasmine had taught her to love. Rain, wind, Nina Simone, laughter, even Jasmine's voice. Beside each painting was a small scent diffuser: lavender, cinnamon, cocoa butter, vanilla. Jasmine stood frozen, tears already in her eyes. "What is all this?" she whispered. "It's your art show," Lily beamed. "But for your heart." Jasmine laughed through her tears. "My heart?" "You fixed it," Lily said simply. Ethan stepped forward, dressed not in his usual gray suit, but a soft blue sweater Lily picked out herself. He looked at Jasmine, no longer like a stranger, not even like a friend. He took a breath, nervous in a way he had not been in years. "I wanted to say something," he began, voice low. "When you came into our lives, I thought you were a moment, something temporary, but you were something else. You were the moment that changed everything." Jasmine covered her mouth. Ethan turned toward Lily. "You taught me how to see, even when I thought I already could." Then to Jasmine, "And you taught me how to feel." The room fell silent. Lily reached out and touched Jasmine's hand, whispering, "You're family now, right?" Jasmine knelt beside her, trying not to cry. "Yes, baby, if you'll have me." Ethan nodded, voice breaking. "You are not staff. You are not helping. You are family." Outside, wind brushed the trees. Inside, something permanent settled, like peace, like healing, like home. What started as a stranger's simple act of kindness turned into the rebirth of a family. Jasmine did not just feed a blind child. She opened eyes that had been closed for years. In a world where we often judge too fast and feel too little, maybe it takes one quiet moment to remind us what really matters. If this story touched your heart, share it forward. Someone out there needs this reminder today.